Marcus Mariota, Jaden Daniels, Dan Quinn, a stingy defense, we could still win. And I'll let you know how. What's up, everybody? Jamer's 58 Gilliam here, coming at you with a logistics video for Week 4 matchup, as the Atlanta Falcons will be hosting the Washington Commanders. The Commanders have a nice little history against my Atlanta Falcons, claiming some victories, but we can change that. We can bounce back after a scoreless outing against the Carolina Panthers. The bright spot of the Atlanta Falcons defense, I am a huge fan of the defensive side of the ball, that we still managed to collect a sack on Bryce Young. Every receiver didn't come nowhere near close to 100 yards receiving. There was nowhere near. Chuba Hubbard came nowhere near of 100 yards rushing. That's what I meant to say first. But I'm not editing this out. I'm human. Screw it. So what needs to happen, whether if it's Marcus Mariota or Jaden Daniels, they got athletic legs. And just like Bryce Young, we must keep a containment. And I meant what I said. We must keep containment. Just like we did J.J. McCarthy, just like we should have done more against Baker Mayfield. But I'm not going to dwell in the past. Once we do containment, we can go back to doing multiple sacks like we used to. Multiple sacks could help the defensive side of the ball even more, which is, the defense was the bright spot from the last game anyway. So I got that much confidence in the defense to do everything else. Pass rushing, run defense, at defending passes. We can do that. But can we contain an athletic opposing QB that got legs, by the way? That's the biggest test. Offensively, well, I did say last week for the most part that during the red zone trips that we should involve Kyle Pitts. He should be targeted more, but in order for that to happen, the Falcons got to make it to the red zone, period. Last game against the Panthers up there in Charlotte, there were 0 trips to the red zone. So how do we get to how do we create red zone opportunities, 58? Well, here's what we need to do. We got to connect with our receivers better and get back to our bread and butter. We got to get back to what we do best. Pound that rock. Tyler Algier, 1 rushing attempt is unacceptable. Only 13 rushing attempts from Bijan Robinson, unacceptable. We need to get back to our bread and butter for the most part. Then everything will fall through. We got to be classic with it. Get the rushing game going to open up the pass. Get Michael Penix Jr. comfortable again. And shoot, he's going to finally connect with his receivers that's further than 5 yards down from the line of scrimmage. Because he did struggle. Is sailing over his, and then there was a play last week against the Panthers where he threw a wrong route. Maybe he was expecting a corner route, and he threw it to nobody. So maybe it's the frustration, but I know for sure that it was a bad day at the office. It was so bad that the wide receivers coach gets fired. Ain't that something? When I think the wrong guy got fired, but we'll get all to that later. But anyway, beat the Commanders. We got to keep their athletic QB in check. QB spots will work for sure. That's the main thing that the Falcons defense got to work on. Falcons offense, they got to get back to their bread and butter, what they do best. Get that O-line to pin their ears back and start shoving everybody out the club. We got to pound that rock. And then, well, coaching-wise, you better stick with what you know best, what works. Don't complicate things. This is a young team. KISS, keep it simple, stupid, coaches. 58 out.